The worth of Bitcoin has remained reliable at around 37,000. In the continuous video, we'll examine the reason why we could see beast changes in Bitcoin's expense in the going with a couple of hours. The improvement in Bitcoin buyers and a coming development report are the reasons for this. Anyway, what we will see really has every one of the reserves of being like that. Bitcoin got exonerated at $38,000 and went down. At this point right now it is clearly outlining a strong model on the 2-hour frame. Again of late, the expense went down. We are going towards $36,000. It seems like there is a little change in the value. Expecting we look anyway most crucial spots, the significant degree is the Fibonacci degree. Furthermore, when we perceive how much trading and the improvement of expenses, it seems like there is a response at the lower end of the expense range. Furthermore, we other than got out a few resources for liquidity reasons. Besides, it transmits an impression of being that there is a noticeable response to the more affordable reach while taking a gander at trading volume and cost perils. This second, we are seeing a little improvement upwards. Regardless, might Bitcoin whenever stay at this level of help for the going with a couple of hours? Similarly, might it at whatever point keep on going higher? This second, people are watching the market close to see what others are doing. That IT really has all of the stores of being that way. Without a doubt, we think things are doing consummate right now. In the Bitcoin charts, our CVD marker shows that a more vital number of people are selling than buying. This proposes there is a lot of selling pressure keeping watch, ignoring how Bitcoin's expense is at this point higher than somewhat early. On September 14th, I posted a tweet on Twitter about Bitcoin. I conveyed that there is a lot of interest in Bitcoin on the CVD marker. People are basically buying in a general sense regardless not succeeding. Notwithstanding, in this particular situation, we have a sign that the expense could start to go down. One more high point is being outlined on the CVD marker. Bitcoin was making a lower high, but as of now it is doing the inverse. We are seeing that the credit for Bitcoin is going up, yet the CVD pointer is showing an excellent disappointment. This plans that expecting that this inferred that Bitcoin's expense would go down. It's a basic encouraging to Bitcoin's burden at the present time that we are seeing something completely different, which is truly going to be a fair sign for the Bitcoin cost. Unfortunately, it's not usually so particularly normal as you would consistently think. On September 14th, when I posted this, it was a tremendous sign that the expense of Bitcoin could go down. In any case, the expense of Bitcoin has gone up a lot of late. Expecting we look at the 4-hour chart, we can see that it happened at a specific time. Bitcoin progressed forward up. What am I endeavoring to say? Definitely, it transmits an impression of being that way. We are at present seeing a lot of buying development keeping watch, which is making costs go up. Anyway, we can't just recognize this data and say Bitcoin will go up in regard. This is especially clear considering the way that new improvement data will be passed on soon. What we can expect to see is a basic ruin from 3.7% changes into around 3.3 regardless in the going with a couple of numbers. We will sort out what the genuine data shows. Expecting Bitcoin propels forward with the alternate way. This is thinking about the way that a piece of the specific signs, especially the deal stream, are looking extraordinarily certain. Anyway, there's another genuinely fundamental thing that I really need to fill you in about. Envision what's going on in which the signs that costs will go up are off course and we will truly progress forward down and progress the assistance region we with having. Since, expecting that we look at a 1-hour time span, I actually suggested that this could serious areas of strength for B for 8 up. Besides, I remember we overall in all can agree that this cost movement looks amazingly supportive. So if we make a check right now, it suggests that Bitcoin could have showed up at its Bitcoin has been constantly trading at the 37,000 region, and in the present Bitcoin cost assumption video, we'll take a gander at the legitimization for why colossal worth overhauls can be expected at the earliest opportunity considering how not simply we are seeing some insane bullish help, yet what's more a totally new improvement report will go live. Notwithstanding, as an issue of some significance, what we will see, it really is clearly that, after an excusal at 38,000 USD locale, for certain, Bitcoin got a key push towards deterrent. At this point from there on out, we are basically delineating a strong framework or something to that effect, fundamentally looking on the 2-hourly time frame. Of late, we got another push towards burden. Towards $36,000 where it really appears as though we are right by and by seeing a little reaction since, in such a case that we go from our swing low back to our swing high. What is the foremost Fibonacci degree? It is truly going to be our awesome pocket, which was definitively at this specific area. Besides, studying the entire upper expense action with the volume, it really appears as though we are seeing a reaction at the value region low. Moreover, likewise, we in this way took out unambiguous lows for liquidity purposes, thus, we were trading at a close by help district or something to that effect. Furthermore, the continuous second we are seeing a little pivot towards the possible augmentation. Clearly, the sales is Bitcoin going to have the choice to hold our area of help for the going with 2 or 3 hours here? Additionally, truly happen with its way essentially higher towards the backward because the truth is paying right now, especially close consideration concerning what others are doing keeping watch. It genuinely is evidently that. For certain, we are seeing a few bullish signs happening right. As of now in the Bitcoin frames, our CVD pointer, which is assessing if the exchanging pressure is coming looking out, we are seeing an essential push towards inconvenience, which right at this point suggests selling pressure is coming clearly in the market while Bitcoin is at this point showing a higher low or something to that effect. Ultimately, on Twitter, on 14th of September, I posted a particularly captivating tweet, which truly said colossal upkeep on Bitcoin is correct as of now. Happening on the CVD pointer. People are simply buying especially uncouthly. Incidentally, for this ongoing circumstance here, we got a negative uniqueness. Astounding higher high was outlining on the CVD pointer. While Bitcoin was molding a lower high at present for this ongoing circumstance that we are seeing right now, it is, as indicated by an insured perspective, absolutely novel. We are seeing a higher credit Bitcoin, yet a sparkling clean lower low on the CVD pointer. So if this here was a negative sign for Bitcoin, was a full alert for the Bitcoin view itself as of the continuous second that we are seeing absolutely exceptional, which is really going to be a bullish sign for the Bitcoin respect itself. In any event isn't correct, unfortunately clear as you would think, considering the way that on 14th of September, when I posted this, beyond a shadow of a doubt, it was a tremendous negative sign for the Bitcoin respect itself. Anyway, we have gotten a key helper in the Bitcoin respect itself since, expecting that we go right now, for example, on the 4-hour time frame and see when this was really happening. It was genuinely occurring overall at this specific district. Bitcoin just happened with generally higher. Towards the opposite. So what is it that I really want to say with this? Indeed, it is evidently that we are seeing right now the deal stream that is coming in the market certainly and bullish. In any case, tragically, we can't simply unwisely recognize this specific data and say Bitcoin is right eventually going to see a psycho direct towards the sensible development, especially taking into account the way that in the approaching hours, brand new improvement report or CPI data will be uncovered. What we can see that it is really expected will be a massive drop from 3.7% to around 3%. Clearly, in the approaching numbers, we will see all that the affirmed data will tell us. Moreover, if Bitcoin is truly going to happen with its way towards the opposite, because as suggested quite a bit early, a piece of the technicals, especially the mentioning stream here is looking gloriously bullish and incredibly brilliant. Regardless, another essential thing that I ought to provide for you is truly going to be envision what's going on where this bullish signs here won't work out and we are truly going to happen with our way even lower towards hindrance to break our specific assistance districts. Since, expecting that we go for example on the 1-hour period of time, a brief time frame prior I actually given you access on that this here can be an inspiration or something to that effect. Additionally, I figure we can all agree this specific expense action looks extraordinarily consistent. So expecting we right at present derive that the top for Bitcoin is in. Clearly, later in the video, I will tell you that, clearly, speculating isn't unequivocally going to be the most ideal decision concerning trading. In any case, over the long haul, expecting we right eventually say that the top for Bitcoin is in, we can be taking a gander at a retouching part. The very unambiguous worth of Bitcoin has remained reliable at around 37,000. In the continuous video, we'll examine the reason why we could see beast changes in Bit. Simply right after completing one wave, what should our next target cost be as we start the going with one? We can use Fibonacci levels to figure it out by looking at the high and beat spots of the wave down that we can audit when the second Alnut wave totally finished, enduring it was around here or another region, and if it's not finished right now and there might be another push the substitute way. Regardless, we ought to just say that we completed our second Alnut wave at a cost of around $37,600. In that specific circumstance, we should zero in on our one. The 618 Fibonacci improvement level will be around $33,400. I figure this target may be colossal if the CPI data is really astounding and we see a basic drop in Bitcoin's expense, maybe in the going with a couple of hours. The 618 Fibonacci improvement level at an expense of $33,400 is gigantic, everything considered to watch. As per my perspective, it's not likely that the expense will go up, an excellent strategy, yet we should regardless be arranged accepting the improvement report is truly appalling. Ultimately, might we sooner or later look at extra unambiguous signs? We ought to discuss our perspective will happen to the expense of Bitcoin. We can see that there is major areas of strength for basic for a reaction happening at the gold Fibonacci degree locale. Anyway, as well as I have actually said in my earlier records, near and dear moving midpoints are used on the hour, 2-hour, 4-hour, and standard time spans. The ongoing second, things are looking astoundingly certain and we are going up. Plus, expecting that you decide to use the RSI marker on the 1-hour diagram for Bitcoin, you could see that it is outlining a higher low RSIA and a lower low. A couple of hours sooner, there was a mysterious bullish disparity in the oversold district that AT standard reaches, similar to exactness, they are something essentially indistinct. The Bitcoin cost is outlining secret bullish divergences on transitory timeframes, with extra ghastly deterred spots and really inspiring beat spots down. Surely, as I said a couple of days sooner, on the standard structure we are seeing signs of costs going down, yet this subsequent we are not areas of strength for seeing for any of costs going down that we truly gotten a basic excusal when the expense went up, and there was a lot of trading happening. Subsequently, thusly, I genuinely need to say that lenient Bitcoin goes up, the crucial spot it could stand up to hindrance is at the astonishing Fibonacci degree from the most fundamental part for specific the base, we basically use the mind-boggling Fibonacci degree on our diagram. You could see that the expense will areas of strength for immense for face at $37,400, which matches the past generally significant expense. This is tremendous for liquidity. Plus, when you measure how much trading the more undeniable expenses, you'll see that the value area high is near the gold Fibonacci degree that is the very thing sure people trust if we interface our old most raised concentrations with a slanting line of resistance, it will charmingly match the control point. Clearly, I agree with them. This genuinely infers that expecting that Bitcoin progresses forward up, we should truly zero in on a particular region where the expense could stop. This district organizes our previous highs, a corner-to-corner level, a quality of control, a value region high, and the superb Fibonacci degree. At $37,400. When we beat this trouble and go up, I figure the expense of Bitcoin could show up at one more high above $38,000. What might it at some point be sensible, considering all that we trade today? We could look for one more opportunity to sell, or maybe to buy in case you haven't proactively bought gold at the Fibonacci degree, I don't trust in getting it as of now is wonderful. We will in a little while see CPI data that could impact the expense of Bitcoin. As of now, I have no confidence in it's truly shrewd to buy or save gold for a long time aside from expecting that you got it at the gold fib if we right as of now say that we completed our most basic rushed part wave here, and we got likewise our ensuing part wave, clearly, what is the going with cost target? All we want to do, we go with our Fibonacci increase levels from our swing high, back to our swing low, back towards the fulfillment of our following part wave. We could examine when this second Alnut wave really finished, if it was genuinely at this specific area, or maybe at this specific locale, or maybe if it's not even finished as of the continuous second, and we will see another push towards the inverse. In any case, we ought to just say that we finished our second Alnut wave all around at 37,600 USD, taking into account everything, we in all honesty in all actuality do need to zero in on our 1.618 Fibonacci increase level, which will be at around 33,400 US. So I would concur that this specific goal will change into a urgent part, gave that right now our CPI data will be exceptionally, phenomenally negative, and we are really going to see a huge reaction in the Bitcoin respect itself, and we are genuinely going to see a fundamental drop, maybe in the approaching hours, expecting that will be what's going on, if our enormous assistance districts here will with being broken. Clearly, I would concur that 1.618 Fibonacci improvement level is an essential expense place for us to assemble around at 33,400 US, yet as implied at this point, somewhat as per my perspective, it isn't precisely imaginable that we will see a principal push towards NASA, yet as suggested ahead of time, we should be facilitated considering the way that envision what's going on in which extension report here will be exceptionally negative. As of now, we ought to break down additional bullish signs. We ought to examine what can't try not to be what's happening for the Bitcoin respect itself. We know right now that we are seeing a fundamental reaction, or actually an incredibly splendid reaction, unequivocally at the gold Fibonacci degree district here. Anyway, also, as suggested right now in my past records, stunning moving midpoints on the 1 hourly, on the 2 hourly, on the 4 hourly time span, even on the customary time period, right now looking particularly bullish, we are in an ascent. Furthermore, expecting that you will go, for example with the RSI marker, acknowledge on the 1 hour time frame, Bitcoin is outlining a higher low RSI scarcely out of the plastic new, lower low, and we were even at the oversight district 2 or 3 hours sooner, stowed away, bullish uniqueness 0.2 hourly time span, for hourly time frame, exactly the same thing. Lower low, higher low on the Bitcoin respect itself, hidden away bullish divergences are right before long being outlined on coterminous term time frames. Undoubtedly, as at present implied other than 2 or 3 days sooner, on the standard time frame, we are forming negative divergence here, yet as insinuated, locally talking, we are correct now not unequivocally seeing any colossal negative signs, simply that we have gotten a beast excusal towards the typical addition on an extremely high volume. Consequently, in this way, I could truly need to say that expecting Bitcoin does observer and as its would like towards the possible development, our area, or genuinely our most basic neighborhood check is again going to be wonderful Fibonacci degree. From the high back to our low, applying only the gold Fibonacci degree on our diagram. You can see the local resistance will come up totally at 37,400 US, changing flawlessly with our past highs for liquidity purposes. Plus, similarly, correspondingly reviewing the entire upper expense movement with volume, you will see we really have our value region high around at the gold Fibonacci degree. Certain people likewise expressed that expecting we truly examine our previous highs with an